Welcome everybody, Michēal Mitchell from Leap Live. Welcome to a Kaiut class today. So what I'd like you all to do is set up with your feet against the baseboard. You're gonna have a bolster and a strap. You're gonna lay flat on your mat like Butch is over there, our lovely model. So bring your feet together, Butch, feet together, legs together. Your head will be supported by your bolster. So first of all, I just want to thank all of you for supporting this amazing community and for being a part of this virtual class. So some of you may be new to the practice, so I will do my best to give instructions for those that are new as well as those who have been practicing for a while. So this type of practice, Kaiut, is all about your mobility. It's pretty simple. We focus on your shoulders, your hips, and your ankles. Each class is usually a little bit different, and there are some props that you need, and so please reach out to us if you're needing some props at info@leapyoga.net, and we'll try to help you get those props that you might need, including a bolster, strap, maybe even a block. So for today, again, we're going to start laying on your backs with your feet up against the baseboard. And go ahead and interlock your hands behind your head. So for some of you, you may be able to lift the edges of your bolster, walk your hands under the bolster and interlock your hands behind your head. And I'd like you to close your eyes down. Just arrive on your mat. So lots of craziness going on out there in the world. I'd like you to let that go. I'd like you to feel your body being supported by Mother Earth. Feel your soul being supported by this community. So I'd like you to find your spine. And so for some of you who may be like me with a little bit of a sway back, you may find that there's a gap between your lower back and the mat. So I'd like you to tilt your hips. Leslie, I know that's you. Tilt your hips, bringing your entire spine in contact with the floor. And then really press your heels into the baseboard. So I'd like you to bend your knees so you're going to move your hips a little closer to the wall and then push away so that you really have a leverage between you and the wall. So if you need to adjust the distance of your bolster, you do that. And then pressing the sides of your feet together. Pressing your legs together. Really feel activation in your legs and allow your knees to drop towards the floor. Now take your hands to the edges of your bolster. Push your bolster away from you over your head. So Roland, I know you're really tall. You might need to make sure there's no chairs or tables in your way. You want to be able to extend your arms fully with your hands under the bolster. Your arms are shoulder width apart. You're going to spread your fingers really wide. And then bring awareness back to your spine. And notice if you have still the entire spine connecting with your mat. That's what you want. And then Lauren, I'd like you to reach a little more. Get that micro bend out of your elbows. Spread your fingers wide. Feel the skin really taut on your palms and on the back of your hands. And then notice if all 10 fingernails are touching down, are connecting with Mother Earth. And then very gently, keeping your arms, keeping your spine, keeping the legs engaged. Everything is engaged here. It's not a resting pose. It's an active pose. Gently rotate your head to the right. So I'd like you to feel everything that's going on in your neck. We carry a lot of our stress in our neck and shoulders. So you're probably feeling that on the left side of your neck, maybe a pinch in the shoulders. So just notice that. You're allowing yourself to feel. And then as you relax, explore a little more. Maybe even bringing your nose to your arm. Maybe bringing your cheek to the mat. And maybe not. Wherever you are is exactly where you should be. So Dominic, reach some more. Extend your arms. Imagine that there's like a really ripe apple on a tree just beyond your reach and you really want to grab it. Very slowly, moving in slow motion, bring your head back to center. Feel the soft tissue reset in your neck, and then rotate to the left. So rotating your head to the left, you want to have some space between your chin and your shoulder. Are you going to join me, Butch? He was allowing everything to reset if anybody was watching him. You may not have been, but. So on this side, finding that tightness in your neck, finding the restriction in your shoulder, allowing yourself to feel that discomfort. Allowing yourself to reach a little farther, Butch. I know, yes. And as you relax, explore some more. Noticing if your legs are pressing together. Margie, press your knees towards the mat. Very gently unwind your neck, bringing your head back to center. I'd like you all to bend your knees just a little bit and then re-engage that pressure against the baseboard. Press your legs together. Press the sides of your feet together. Reach your arms a little further. And then gently start to walk your hands towards each other. So they're going to be centered over the top of your head. Place the back of your right hand in the palm of the left. So you're stacking one hand on top of the other, reaching above your head. Now check back in with your spine. Notice if you have that gap that's creeped back between your lower back and the floor. If so, tilt your hips. Re-engage the spine. And then very slowly bring your right knee towards your right shoulder. Really pressing into the baseboard still. That left leg is still activated. The right knee is coming towards the right shoulder. So with the shift in angle, you'll probably feel your lower back pushing into your mat. With your left foot pushing into the wall. And I can tell somebody is going to need to probably use some Windex after this class. You're going to have your door. So engaging your arms, reaching away. And Deborah, maybe lift your heel just a bit so that your calf is kind of parallel with the floor. So you're not dropping your heel towards the floor. You're still flexing the right foot now. Flex the right foot. Yes. So noticing if that left leg is still engaged, feeling your thigh, feeling the knee pressing down towards your mat. And then very gently release the right foot, placing it back on the baseboard again. Press your feet together, press your legs together, maybe even adjusting, bending your knees slightly, pushing away. You kind of want to feel like a traction in your back. That's the engagement that you have and the pressure that you have against the wall. Butch, bring your feet together, sides of your, yes. And then do the other side. So bring your left knee towards the left shoulder. Flex that left foot. Yes. And then noticing if your calf is kind of parallel to your mat, so you're not letting that heel drop. And reach your arms a little more, extend. And very gently bring the left foot back to the baseboard or your wall. Press your legs together. Engage your thighs, activate your thighs, and then switch your hands. So back of the left on top of the right. And I'd like you to notice, feel the skin on the side of your torso. Feel it's hot. Feel it stretching as you reach through your arms and your hands and trying to take that micro bend out of your elbows. Really reach. And this time, take your right knee and bring it to the center of your chest. So we're accessing that hip joint from a slightly different angle, and then flex the right foot. Yes. And notice if that heel is dropping towards your mat. If so, lift that heel up. Yes. And bring awareness to your spine, still connected with your mat. Bring awareness to that left leg that's still pushing into the baseboard. Your knee is pressing down towards your mat. Excellent. So there's somebody who I have a really great shot of like your ceiling. And I think I can see your toes. Not sure who that is. So reach a little more. And then bring the right foot back to the baseboard. Re-engage the pressure with the feet together, the legs together, pushing into your wall. And then bring the left knee into the center chest. Noticing if the right leg is still engaged, still pushing into the baseboard. Right leg is activated. So you might start to feel some fatigue. So if you are, that probably is going to surface in the form of a little bit of maybe cramping or trembling. And if you're not experiencing that, I want you to try a little harder. Notice if your knee is bringing it towards the center of your chest. Good. Bring the left foot back to the baseboard. Then separate your hands shoulder width apart, still under your bolster. And for some of you who have some issues in your shoulders, you may find a lot of intensity here. You might start to feel a little buzzing, a little vibration, a little tingling in your shoulders. So if that's the case, feel free to bring your hands on top of the bolster. It can be one or both hands. If you feel like you're pushing through, if you feel like you just can't bear this, then I want you to back off a little bit, and that will be by putting your hands on top of the bolster. It doesn't mean you're doing less. It actually means you're doing more. So what I'd like you to do is find that optimum level for you in your body so that you can reap the benefit, the maximum benefit that this practice has to offer your body. So Marcia, reach a little more. Take that micro bend out of your elbows. And very slowly bring both knees into your chest. And then separate your knees so that they're actually coming like towards your shoulders, not together and not towards the center of your chest, but legs are separated. Bring your heels together a little closer, Butch. Yeah. So your legs are kind of parallel. Your calves are parallel. Yes. And flex both feet. Notice if you're still reaching your arms away, if you're spreading your fingers, if you're noticing the contact of all 10 fingernails with the floor. Very gently release your legs. Go ahead and press them into the baseboard, but not a lot of activation in your legs, not really pressing hard, but separate your feet so they're about shoulder width apart. And then moving in slow motion, release your hands very slowly, bringing your arms down alongside your torso, palms down. I'd like you to feel the change in circulation in your shoulders, in your arms, in your hands and fingers as you release the pose. Close your eyes. All right, gently find your bolster, bring it back under your head and neck for support, and find your strap. And then start by engaging your legs just as we did from the beginning. So press your legs together, press the sides of your feet together, like the arches of your feet. Engage both thighs, pressing your knees into the mat. So find that engagement. Keeping the left foot where it is, pressing into the baseboard. Take your strap in the arch of your right foot and extend your right leg straight up towards the ceiling. Now, Deborah, be careful on those knees of yours, but try to fully extend your leg. You want to feel the opening alongside the entire back side of your right leg, from hip to heel. Cindy, extend that leg a little more. However, you might want to take a second to pet your kitty. See, he's coming to help you. I don't know if it's a he or not, but I called him a he. So left leg is pressing into the baseboard. Your arms are fully extended, so you're walking them up the strap. You want to have one hand on each end of the strap, so you're not combining the straps together. We're working your hands as well. So Joseph, try to take that bend out of your knee. Extend the leg a little more. Even if you have to back off a little bit from not having your legs straight up towards the ceiling, I'd rather see you have full extension of the entire leg. Check in with your spine. Notice if that lower back is still connecting with your mat. Notice if the left leg is still here and part of the party, pressing the heel into the baseboard, engaging the left thigh, pressing the left knee towards the mat. So for future reference, if any of you don't have a strap, you can email us at the studio. We've got some available, or you could use just like a belt or something in the meantime. But that traction that is created with the strap really helps you to maximize the benefit from the pose. You guys look amazing. All right, very gently release, placing that right foot next to the left again, re-engaging the pressure against the baseboard, re-engaging both legs, pressing them together. And then place the strap on the arch of the left foot. Left leg goes straight up. You're walking your arms up the strap so you have full extension of your arms. You're squeezing. Notice if all 10 fingers are engaged with that strap equally. And if not, demand more from those fingers that aren't helping. So Leslie, check in with your spine again. Notice if you've got that gap creeping back between your lower back and the floor. Joseph, full extension of the leg. Try to get that microbend out of your knee. Good. Notice if the right leg is falling asleep or if it's still engaged. Thigh is engaged, your heel's pressing into the baseboard, your knee is dropping towards the earth. All right, release the left. Bring your left foot back to meet the right. Once again, re-engage. Bend your knees if needed. Push yourself away so you've got that traction with your back against the mat. Press your feet together, the sides of your feet, your legs. Activate your thighs. Good. And then once again, place the strap on the arch of your right foot. And this time, place both ends of the strap in your left hand. Leg is still up towards the ceiling, fully extended. Then take your right hand and place it right at the hip crease. So your palm is on your thigh, the upper part of your thigh. The heel of your hand is right in that hip crease. And I'd like you to push your femur towards the wall. So really activate the right hand, pushing towards the wall. Good. Check in with that left leg, still engaged, heel still pushing into the baseboard. And then as you continue the pressure, very gently, just start to bring your right leg across your body. So you're still pushing away with the right hand. You're bringing the strap in your left hand across your body so that you can waken up that sciatic nerve. So find that sensation, find the edge of it, play with that sensation. You guys are doing amazing. It's kind of interesting, isn't it? How having the connection of your community, just being able to, see some of you that are sharing your screen, being able to see that on your screen. I mean, it's amazing how it almost feels like we're all in the room together. So know that you're not alone. All right, very gently release. Bring the right foot back to meet the left. Re-engage. Press your feet together. Press your heels into the baseboard. Then place the strap on the arch of your left foot. Extend that left leg straight up. Fully extend your knee, Joseph. Then bring both ends of the strap into your right hand. Taking your left hand, placing the heel of your hand right at the hip crease. The palm of your hand is on your left thigh. And I want you to push your left thigh away from you towards the wall. Good. Check in with your spine connecting with your mat. Check in with your leg fully extended on the right leg, pushing your heel into the baseboard, knee coming towards the earth. Everything engaged. And then very slowly start to bring the left leg across your body, still pushing with your left hand, pushing the femur away from you, pushing your thigh towards the wall, away from you. Find the sciatic nerve on this side. And it may be in a different spot. So just notice any subtle differences. Feel the extension all the way up the back side of your left leg. Through the hamstring, through the back of your knee, through your calf. You're doing great, Butch. All right, very gently release the strap. Extend your legs, pressing them into the baseboard, into each other, sides of the feet connecting. And interlock your hands behind your head. So once again, that can either be on top of your bolster. If you have issues with your shoulders, you could be hanging on to the edges of your bolster or pillow. Or if it's there for you, interlocking your hands behind your head under the bolster. Close your eyes. And if you've lost that engagement in your legs, re-engage. Push both feet into the baseboard. Press the sides of your feet together. Engage your thighs, and then gently turn your head to the right. And Lauren, lift your chin a little, pointing your nose towards that right elbow. So Nancy, maybe even bringing your cheek to the bolster. So noticing any subtle differences in that restriction in your neck from the first opening pose. And then I'd like you to allow yourself to explore it a little further. Give yourself permission to explore. Very gently, bring your head back to center. Feel that neck unwind. Feel the soft tissue relax. Switch the interlock of your fingers by one, and turn your head to the left. Same thing on this side, Lauren. Lift your chin a little. And explore it a little more. Maybe bringing your cheek to the bolster or your hands. Very gently bring your head back to center. Release your arms. Bend your knees now, feet flat to the mat, and roll to your right. So push yourself up. Come to a standing position, and I want you to bring your bolster with you. You're going to stand with your back to the wall or to whatever your wall surface is. Be careful if it's a sliding glass door. Your back is going to be facing your wall. Your feet are going to be about 24 inches away from the wall. You're going to separate your feet about hip width apart. Make sure that your bolster is going to be there close enough to your feet that when you bend forward, you can bring your hands to the tops of the bolster. And once you're settled here, I'd like you to lean back, placing your behind on your wall. So you're going to be leaning. Don't move your feet though. Your feet are still 2 feet away from the wall. So you might need to use your hands as support. So Butch, move your feet a little farther away from the wall. So kind of look down at your feet. See if you, 24 inches, that's a fair amount. You want your feet a ways away from the wall. And then notice if your toes are pointing forward. So in most cases, we need to walk our heels out a little bit. So the toes are pointing forward. Your feet are hip width apart. Leaving your hips against the wall, gently place your hands on your bolster. So some of you might need to move your bolster a little closer. If you can't reach your bolster, just kind of reach in that direction. And then release your head and neck. Feel your spine curve. Feel the work in the backs of your legs. Allow your head and neck to be very heavy. And keeping your hands where they are, start to shift the weight to the balls of your feet. You're going to move your hips away from the wall so that your legs are now parallel with your wall. So your legs, your bum is coming away from the wall, Butch. Yep. So now you are not leaning against the wall. You're standing with your legs parallel to the wall that's behind you, and your hands are supported by your bolster. Release your head and neck, Dominic. Yes. And then play with the weight in your feet. See if you can bring a little bit more weight into the balls of your feet, and then a little bit of your weight into your heels. All the time, keeping your legs parallel to the wall behind you. So sometimes you want to kind of lean forward and back to change that weight in your feet. Try to keep your legs as they are, just barely shifting the weight. Good. Yes. And keeping your hands where they are, gently toe heel your feet together. So the sides of your feet are touching, your legs are touching. Both legs are still fully extended, Joseph. And again, for those of you who may not be able to reach your bolster, that's okay. Just allow your torso to hang as much as possible. And maybe just have your fingertips supported by your bolster. Release your head a little more, Butch. Yes. So head and neck are released. And then very gently take a step back with your right foot, bringing your right heel to the baseboard. So your feet are kind of in the same line as if they were still touching each other, but you've got one that's still up about 2 feet away from the wall, and then your right heel is touching the wall. And sort of look at your toes. Notice if they're still pointing forward. You might need to just slightly shift the heel out a bit. And then feel the weight distribution between both of your feet and shift a little bit more of the weight into your front foot, into that left foot. But you're still keeping the right foot planted on the floor. You're not lifting your heel, but you're just shifting a bit of the weight into that forward foot. Good, Cindy. And then gently step the right foot back to meet the left. And switch sides. So step the left foot back. Heel is pressing up against your wall or baseboard. Both legs still fully extended. Dominic, release your head and neck. Yes. And then notice the distribution of weight. Try to shift more of your weight into the front foot, the right foot. Left heel is still touching down, still touching the baseboard, but you're just shifting the balance slightly towards that front foot. And peeking at your toes, notice if your feet are still pointing forward, maybe needing to shift your heel out slightly. So Marcia, release your head and neck a little more. Yes. And then very gently step that left foot back to meet the right. And then going with walking your feet together. So if they're not together, walk them together. And then where we started, you're going to gently lower yourself back so that your hips are supported once again by your wall or sliding glass door. Be careful, Dominic. So release your head and neck, legs fully extended. If you can, you're placing your hands on your bolster. So feel that curvature in your spine. Feel the backs of your legs opening. And then maybe lifting up to your fingertips, keeping your legs extended. Take your gaze up or forward. Yes. So just notice if your eyeballs are like straining to look up at the ceiling. Excellent. All right, gently release, roll up to a standing position and take a walk. And as you walk by your camera, maybe you can give a wave out to the fellow students in your class today. As Butch always says, he loves to be able to watch people walk around like this because this is how he walks every morning when he gets out of bed. All right. Hi, Deborah. All right. Making your way back to your mat. So I'd like you to come to a seated position on your mat in Sukhasana. So start by sitting without the use of your bolster. Start by just sitting first on your mat. For those of you maybe new to this practice, what Sukhasana is just crossing the right shin in front of the left. You're going to use that left shin as a guide. It should be parallel to the top edge of your mat with the right shin in front. And then you're moving your knees closer together. Your feet are moving away out towards the edges of your mat. So if you look down, you're kind of creating a box with your legs. Now, notice your spine. If it's really difficult for you to sit up straight, sit on your bolster. If, as you're sitting in Sukhasana on the floor, you really don't feel a whole lot of work happening, I'd like you to take your right heel and place it on the left knee. So each of you is going to modify based on your body and what you need. And again, it doesn't mean one of you is doing less or more than the other. We're just maximizing for you and your body. So once you find that proper space with your legs, sit up tall. Find length in your spine. Imagine that I have a rope attached to the top of your head. I'm pulling your spine up towards the ceiling. Yes, good, Cindy. Now allow your chin to drop to your chest. Roll your shoulders forward. Place your hands on the mat in front of your shins. Walk your hands out. And then allow your elbows to bend. If it's comfortable for you, maybe you can bring your forearms to the mat. For some of you, maybe just your fingertips are touching. So remembering not to judge yourself. You're going to that point where you start to feel that restriction. For some, it may originate from your ankles because they're so rigid. For some of you, you may be feeling that sensation in your hips or your back. Wherever that is, just allow yourself to find that maximum edge. Release your head and neck. So Carolyn, just make sure you're taking care of your knees. So if you need, you're going to back off a little bit, lifting your knees. You're going to support the outside of your leg if needed with a blanket. Just take care of you. Excellent. Very gently walk your hands back in, switch your legs. Left in front of right. And the same thing holds true. So you're either seated on your mat, maybe you're bringing that left heel up onto the right knee. Maybe you're using your bolster, wherever that spot is that's best for you. Sit up nice and tall. Allow your chin to come to your chest. Roll your shoulders forward. Place your hands on the mat in front of you. Walk your hands out. So Roland, feel your spine. Feel the curvature in your spine. Let your head and neck be heavy, Nancy. Excellent. Walk your hands back in, release your legs. Then lay down on your backs. I want your head and neck supported by the bolster, knees bent, feet flat to the mat. Good. Then take both hands just below the right knee and guide that right knee to the center of your chest. So I'd really like you to pay attention to the sensation in your hip. Feel that femur moving in the hip socket. And then really leverage your arms. Pull your thigh in towards the center of your chest. Feel the release, feel the sensation in your lower back as it presses into the mat. And then slide your hands just to the center of your shin, and then continue to guide that thigh towards the center chest. Feel that slight variation in the angle as you shift your hands. Feel the pinch in the groin. Excellent. Gently release and switch to the other side. So hands just below the left knee. Guide that left thigh into the center of your chest. Really pay attention to the motion, to the rotation, to the feeling of the movement of that femur in your hip socket. Remembering that you're bringing that knee to the center of your chest. You're going to slide your hands down the shin to the center of your shin, approaching from a slightly different angle. Using your arms to leverage, finding that pinch in the groin. Noticing the sensation in your back as any tension releases, Leslie. All right, gently release. Extend both legs long on your mat, bringing your heels out to the far edges of your mat. Interlock your hands behind your head, either on top of or under your bolster, whatever's calling to you. Allow yourself to relax. Absorb the work you've done. Shavasana. Very gently rotate your head to the right. Lauren, slight lift of the nose. Moving in slow motion, gently bring your head back to center. Switch the interlock of your fingers by one. And then gently rotate your head to the left. Lifting the nose, Carolyn. Very gently bring your head back to center. Release your hands and just allow them to be alongside your torso, palms down. Close your eyes. Gently roll to the right. Push yourself up to a seated position. Whatever's most comfortable on your mat, on your bolster / pillow. And bring your hands to your heart center. Close your eyes down. Just taking a moment to be thankful for this amazing community, finding a way to come together. Finding a way to share this practice that we need so very much at this time. And in honoring each other, we bow our heads and simply say namaste. So thank you all so very much for joining us today and being patient as we work through the technology issues. I hope that you're seeing some enhancements, some upgrades. We increased our internet speed, so I think that's going to help a lot of you. But we're open to any feedback that you might have for us, how we can better this experience for you. And once again, if any of you are in need of personal props so that you can really maximize your practice, please email us. We'll do our very best to help you out. And love you all. Thank you so much. See you next time. Bye.